Hi everyone, my name is Valerie Wynn and I'm the marketing specialist at EagleDream Technologies. Welcome to 20-minute tech break and happy Friday. So this is our last 20-minute tech break of the year. So we're ending it off on a high note with NYCM as we discuss their cloud journey from foundation to modernizing. And a little bit of a 20-minute tech break if you're new. So we have usually 20 minutes. Usually it's just two experts, but we're joined by three today. And we usually cover 4 topic points. And then we'll open it up to Q&A at around 12:50 where you can have the opportunity to ask any questions if you have any. And then we'll just close off with our day. But Justin, if you'd like to give a little introduction about what you do at EDT and a little bit of a background.
Sure. Welcome everybody that's joined. Thanks for hopping on today. My name is Justin Guzzi. I am a principal cloud solution architect at EagleDream Technologies. So a little bit about my role at EagleDream is really I help our customers get to the cloud. And if they're already in the cloud today, optimize and continue to architect and run their systems based on AWS best practices. So I'm here, joined here today with Pat and Will from NYCM. I'll go ahead and hand it over to you guys if you'd like to give a brief introduction of yourselves. Go ahead, Pat.
My name is Patrick Claudy. I'm a network security analyst for NYCM Insurance. I've been working for them for about 5 years on the security team. We are there to ensure that our network in the cloud and on-premise is secure and meeting several regulations.
Hi, I'm Will Artis. I am the IT systems architect. I've been in that role for about 1 year. Part of that, I was a supervisor of the network server team for 12 years, and I've been at NYCM for 22 years.
Awesome. Great, so let's get started. So going into the talking points, Will and Patrick, feel free to start off with telling us a little about NYCM and what you guys do.
Yep. NYCM Insurance is a property and casualty insurance carrier that has been providing coverage to residents and businesses in New York since 1899. NYCM is made up of a team of 800 employees and a network of over 1,200 independent agents. And currently we have over 525,000 policyholders. And then for what I do at NYCM is, like I said, I'm the architect of the IT systems. So, I mean, I'm in charge of the infrastructure, the network, working closely with the network server team, and of course, closely with Pat and the security, basically to protect NYCM and make sure no one gets in.
Great. Thank you for the background. I'm actually really excited that you guys are on with us today. You guys have come a long way, and I'd say maybe less than a year.
Yep.
It was about 1 year ago in the fall of last year that we started to kind of explore what your cloud journey was going to be like. And you guys, that journey has been significant for you. So, before we had really been introduced to each other and started talking about what you guys could do in the cloud, can you tell us a little bit about, how you were operating some of those applications that are running in the cloud today and, some of the challenges you guys were facing as an organization?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, our infrastructure was set up pretty well on-premise. The issue is we're on-premise in our Emerson data center and our Sherburne data center. We're running VMware, we're using the VMware tools, we're replicating, but the issue is we don't really have HA, high availability, set up on all these systems. We do have a DR, but no HA. And again, our DR site is only like 17 miles away, so that kind of, makes you a little worried too. So again, we have a good infrastructure, we have the blades, we have the storage, we have the replication, we got the data centers, but they're very close together. We do test our DR, but it's older technology. Even though it works well, we're not keeping up with modernization. I think that's our biggest issue, was we're just not, cloud was talked about, but we never really went to the cloud. So we needed that one step to get us to the cloud. I think working with you guys helped us get to the cloud.
And just to kind of, throw another one in there, things, I know things that were a lot different pre-COVID, probably than they are now. What challenges have you guys faced in terms of, in terms of COVID and some of the changes that have happened, maybe with the working from home and, just overall business process changes?
The good thing is pre-COVID, we were getting prepared for, not necessarily COVID, I don't think anyone was prepared for COVID, but getting prepared for the snowstorms. We live in upstate New York, we get the blizzards, we get the snowstorms. So over the last couple of years, we've been testing out our VPN connection and getting everyone a VPN account. So when a snowstorm would come, we'd work from home. Now, we never had the whole office from home, but we had a lot of employees from home. So over the years, we realized we could do it. Now, obviously, when COVID hit, it kind of hit pretty quickly, and we had to get prepared pretty fast. We had to make some modifications. We had to increase our internet pipes, get some more users on VPN. But overall, NYCM really did not miss a beat when it came to COVID. We were prepared for this, and being prepared made it easier for us. And we actually have been doing quite well during COVID. Most of us are still working from home, but we were able to do, our products weren't delayed. We were able to get things done. And our customers are getting what they need, and it's been a good experience for all of us.
Awesome. And I know you've leveraged workspaces a little bit too for that VDI infrastructure. How has that experience been? Yeah,
prior to AWS, we were using an on-premise VDI, and we had some users using it, but majority of our users go in the office. So they didn't really need a VDI solution full time. Well, COVID hit, and now we have users that live out where there's no internet or very slow internet. They might have a DSL or a satellite, and it's very slow for them to connect back to the office. So we did have an on-prem VDI, but we realized the advantages of using workspaces. So we started developing workspaces, and now we've fully rolled out to workspaces and have limited our on-prem VDI. We probably have like 15 to 20 users that use workspaces on a regular basis. And for most of them, it's a very good experience. It makes things so much easier. And they don't need a work laptop. They can use a Chromebook, they can use their home PC, connect to the network, and do their job.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's great to really see a true use case of something like that. We hear about workspaces, we hear about AppStream and these VDI solutions, but it sounds like you guys are actually using it, right? You're actually utilizing it and seeing the benefits of how easy it is to use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Pat, was there anything you wanted to add on the security side around challenges of the team, prior to our engagement last year?
I think the biggest challenge was really understanding what it meant to be in the cloud, understanding what controls we can apply, what controls do we need to apply. We have lots of layers to our security at NYCM, and we've grown to be comfortable with these controls, and we want to be able to use them in no matter what platform we're running on. So understanding, we're doing it one way on premise. How can we implement this same kind of control in the cloud? Maybe it's using native cloud tools in that process as well. So I think just trying to understand how do we do that was the biggest challenge.
So on that same vein, that's great because that leads into the next question. Talking about comfort and familiarity with AWS. How familiar were you guys as an organization with AWS technologies before we engaged and you guys started on that cloud journey?
I had very limited experience. I know AWS came in a couple of years ago. We built some servers from images and deployed it. And that was pretty much for me. Pat, I know you had more experience. I believe you're certified also in AWS.
Yeah. So, my experience was I knew a couple people in one of our other divisions were playing around with AWS, spinning up a server here or there, but nothing serious, nothing like actually business critical or even business related, I think. A couple of years ago, I got the opportunity to go to AWS reInvent, which kind of opened my eyes to all the different capabilities and everything that was going on. There was a little bit of overload. But then from there, I went on to get the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, which really kind of gives you that foundation of understanding AWS's core principles. And then when we started working with EagleDream, that's when I got even more hands-on experience, which was, you can't put a value on hands-on experience working in the environment.
Yeah, it's the truth. I mean, you're right. When you go to reInvent and you see all of these different chalk talks and presentations and things that you can do, it can be overwhelming. It can be very exciting, but I think it goes back to like what you said about hands-on, right? It really, especially along with certification too. I mean, I know firsthand that those certification exams are tough, but getting the hands-on experience is all a part of that journey and really wrapping your head around the technologies that are out there. So, as you guys got more familiar with it, can you tell us a little bit about the cloud journey, a little bit about, what we work with you to get into the cloud, and then kind of maybe how you're operating today?
Yep. So I think the one thing that helped us move us to the cloud is anytime we looked at a new application, new third-party application, their pretty much main option is the cloud. So we actually moved our HR system to the cloud a couple of years back, and the success from that, I think, opened up people's minds, like, we need to start looking at our own servers on premise. So I think that was one of the big things to help us get to the cloud, and one of the big things why we started working with you guys. So when we started working with you, what people have to realize is it's not just building a server in AWS. The server is almost the easy part. It's what we went through, work with EagleDream for months, is setting up everything else. The network, the security, the pipelines. And we discussed, we're gonna take our time. We're gonna take our time, we're gonna do it right, and do it right the first time. And then working closely with you, Justin, Pat, and the other guys, we did. We worked on this for months, and we built a great product. Like I said, the servers are the easy part. The pipeline process, which gives us that high availability, which gives us that DR option, is where we spent a lot of our time. Within the pipeline, you have the security groups, the domain names, encryption keys, availability zones, WAF rules, certificates, and then of course the EC2 servers. And the experience we got working with EagleDream was amazing. Like Pat said, my knowledge increased tremendously by working with you guys, and now I have a great understanding of what the pipeline process is and how it can benefit us moving forward.
Yeah.
To add on to that, I mean, I understood like core concepts and principles of AWS from the training I had done previously, but now we get to actually use it, see how it implemented, see like how it all comes together. I think one of the most exciting things for me with AWS is seeing how the infrastructure, application, and security is all turning into basically programming code.
Yep.
And, I've heard about that concept from reInvent and training and stuff. Infrastructure as code, security as code. So it was really exciting to see that actually come together, and then our team be able to use it and understand it. And, now we're at the point where we're making modifications to it to meet our current needs, as they change, or as we understand, we have to do this a little bit differently to get this application to work. Or we're seeing the benefits of using workspaces, or now we're open to exploring all these different surfaces and products that AWS offers, and can improve our, not just like the IT side of things, but have potential to improve the business.
And to add on to that, Justin, like you said, my knowledge is very limited going into this. Working with EagleDream Technologies, and then working with Pat and Dan all the time, is we can figure things out mostly on our own now. We get together real quick, we do this, we do that, we get it working. That's from working with you guys and getting this experience. So we do appreciate that.
Yeah. And, I think it goes without saying, you guys are very much aware, but the initial plan was when we were working with you to get those couple applications up to the cloud, we were actually planning on going a little bit of a different route and kind of standing some infrastructure up manually. And we actually pivoted as part of that, right? Because as you said, Will, you guys wanted to do it right and do it right the first time, and build out a process, right? We're not just putting something in the cloud and now it's just running there, right? It's changing not only how you're interacting with the systems, but the processes around deploying and managing those systems, and then, integrating with your other teams and having them deploy their code out to those servers as well. So obviously, this this project is near and dear to me because I work with you guys so close. You know, we had some challenges and we had some really good wins along the way. And now you're kind of, you know, now you're operating it on your own, and, you know, it's in a good way. You guys kind of don't need me anymore, right? Because you guys are running it, and, you know, you're incredibly familiar with the environment. So I think, you know, again, that goes back to what Pat was saying, hands-on experience, right? You guys were in there with me. You know, we were working as a collaborative team to build this out. And I think that's incredibly important, you know, along any cloud journey, is to have the right people in the room and work together as a team to build something. So
don't feel bad, Justin. We meet all the time, and a lot of times it comes up, we need to run this by Justin. So we still need you.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's been an awesome project to, you know, and to see where you guys are at today. So, you know, on the vein of security, as Pat was kind of talking about a little bit around security compliance, you know, what type of unique security and compliance considerations do you guys have? I mean, you're in the insurance agency, so obviously there's, you know, a lot of red tape. So, you know, what are some of those considerations for running in AWS, and how have you kind of adapted those to your cloud environment?
Well, so we have multiple, you know, layers of security, you know, firewalls, IPS, IDS, antivirus. So we have all these different tools that we're currently using on premise. So how do we implement them, you know, similarly into the cloud? So, you know, we end up leveraging like security groups, network ACLs, you know, set up the net routing of the network. So does this actually need to talk to this? No. Okay. So let's not even let it communicate from the get-go. AWS WAF, Shield. So a lot of those native cloud tools we're actually, you know, we're leveraging and integrating as part of that code pipeline. Some of those native tools. On like the governance and compliance, we have things like PCI, CIS best practice, CIS benchmarks, PHI data. You know, we're very conscious of what type of data we're taking and presenting. So we have to make sure we're putting the right controls around that data. You know, who has access to it? Is it encrypted? Is the transmission of it encrypted? So, you know, we have, you know, what we're doing on premise, we had to make sure those same controls or comparable controls were in place in AWS. So you helped us, you know, say, okay, this is what we have on premise. How do we kind of accomplish the same thing with AWS? And you would help us, you know, I remember a couple conversations where we spent like an hour or two just trying to figure out, like, how do we get this to work in this and do the same thing? And drawing out the diagrams of it to kind of put the picture.
The one recommendation I would make is other companies going through this, make sure IT and security are involved from day one. Don't just start with IT or start with security. Both together, I think, has greatly benefited this project. Having Pat, Danjo, and myself on this team, it just makes it so much better because you have the IT experience, you have the security experience, put it together, you deliver a better product.
I'm happy you just said that, Will, because we get that question a lot, actually. We say, you know, a lot of potential customers say, you know, when does security get involved in the conversation? Is it after you migrate? Is it later on in the process? And it's absolutely, as you just had said, it is not, right? Because the security is interwoven into the environment that you're building. And if those conversations are not being had in the very beginning of a cloud journey, it's already too late, right?
Yep,
so, yeah, that's a great point. I mean, and how would you guys say that security, a lot of security controls, how do you say that they align with what you're doing on premises, or, you know, maybe ease of implementation versus how you guys were implementing those on premises?
I think some things have been created easier because we're able to automate them. So like WAF rules, you know, we have the same rules apply across our different applications. So we just copy and paste that code into another template. You know, we've automated installation of antivirus, so we don't have to worry about a manual step there or possibly missing that. So I think some of baking those security controls into the code templates, allowing us to automate it. So as things scale in AWS, we can reuse it and make sure that those controls are there at all those levels. We've gained some controls, like, we've leveraged features of CloudFront from a security perspective to, add a layer of protection to us that we didn't really have there with, on-premise. We weren't using CDNs. So we're able, with AWS, we're able to add layers to our security stack to improve the security of the application.
Great. Well, I think, we've made our way through the questions. I think we'll probably go ahead and open it up to Q&A right now. If anybody has any questions, feel free to either raise your hand or throw them into the chat box, and we can talk about them.
Yeah, so it looks like we already have one question from Adam. So what do you think the future of the cloud looks like for insurance companies?
Again, I think the cloud is here to stay, and it's going to be used more and more every day. The biggest thing for us back in the day was security. It's in the cloud. We don't own we don't own the data. It's someone else's, data center. How do you protect us? Like what Pat said with security, we're probably more secure now in the cloud than we were in our own DMZ with all these tools that Amazon has. So yes, I see everyone using the cloud in the near future.
Great. And so we also have another question from Jessica. How does implementing cloud-based systems affect NYCM's customers?
Good question. So at this point, we didn't get into, but we moved our main website and our portal for our insureds to the cloud. They didn't notice a difference. To them, it's still the same website. However, though, behind the scenes, our insured lobby is now highly available across multiple availability zones. So we're giving them more, more protection. It's going to be up, load balancers in front of it. They're going to be able to get to it. If one goes down, we've set it up properly where we've given them more high availability.
Okay, great. Let's see if we have any more questions. Feel free to raise your hand or drop them in the chat box if you have any. We're cutting it close. There's only about 5-6 minutes left. So just do a last call for questions. If not, we can give you back a couple minutes in your day. It's so nice out. It's Friday.
It is.
And one other thing to discuss, Justin, is the cost of AWS. Mm-hmm. AWS has a ton of different features. Everything costs something, and I think you guys worked with us on a tool called Cloud Health. And because of that tool, we're able to cut our cost of AWS down drastically because it gives you recommendations of change the server from a medium to a small or a small to a micro. And using that, like I said, we've cut our costs down a good amount. So I recommend that to anybody.
That's great. Yeah. Those tools are infinitely helpful and kind of that single pane of glass into your environment, especially with you guys have multiple AWS accounts. So it's not a matter of just logging into one and, okay, this is what my bill is. It's kind of spread out across the entire environment. So having tools in place like that, I'm sure has been helpful for you guys. And I'm glad to hear that it's helped you guys to optimize.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it looks like we don't have any more questions. So thank you, Will, Patrick, Justin, especially for coming to us on your day off. Thank you to those that have stuck with us for the past 7 months. It's been a long 7 months, and this is our last episode of 20-Minute Tech Break. So thank you, NYCM, for joining us, and have a happy Friday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.